my truck broke down and it's now in the shop, and now I'm driving a little SUV, which I'm not too happy about.
I told you to stick with Ford.
Welcome to the No Two Roads podcast with Darren Leffers and Brent and Rook.
Welcome back to No Two Roads podcast, episode number 2.
Still liking the name, by the way.
Okay, good. It is Brent and Darren, your hosts. We also are owners of the Leffers and Rook real estate group. And the point of this podcast is to talk about business, entrepreneurs from the beginning of their business all the way to the end or whatever growth they had. Please like, subscribe, follow along. We'd love your support. Darren, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're looking forward to getting some guests on here. I'm really excited about that. But today, like last time we talked about each of us, kind of how we grew up and the different jobs we had, how we got to Leffers and Rook. So today we're going to start about how that all started, how it's taken shape, and kind of where we're going to take it. So
at the beginning of a real estate business, how we started and where we are now, almost 10 years as partners, which is kind of crazy that I've put up with you for that long.
That is true. Vice versa.
Yes, exactly. And current events as of today, my truck broke down and it's now in the shop, and now I'm driving a little SUV, which I'm not too happy about.
I told you to stick with Ford.
Was stuck on the side of the highway yesterday, flat tire, engine overheating, pretty new GMC truck. That's too bad. So
somehow Brent still, even though Brent ran over something to put a puncture in his tire, he still convinced GM that they should pay for half of it. So negotiations.
You should pay for all of it. What are you talking about?
They chose to run over it, or you did?
Listen, when I went on the highway, okay, the overheat thing went on. It told me to idle. This is right after I picked up my truck from GMC, and they're like, you can now drive it. It's safe to drive. Don't worry about it. Come back Thursday and pick up your part. So I said, okay, fine. So then I go on the highway, and it goes overheating with the fan on. It tells me to pull over. So I pull over and hit a spike, and that's my problem.
Well, if there's a cute little deer there, would you have ran over the deer? You would have went past it and then around.
Doesn't matter. I don't like your argument. You know what?
Okay, let's get back to Leffers and Rook.
Okay. No, I actually wanted to talk about your beer too. It's gone now.
Oh yeah, it is gone. Yeah, it wasn't real.
It was fake from last episode.
Okay. No, I went from 3.5 months growth to like 10-day growth. So, I guess you'll be able to see how far apart our podcasts were filmed.
I don't think you look as good.
I'll grow it back. I thought it looked pretty good. You know what? I can make anything look good. We'll just go with that.
All right.
Okay, so Brent, I'm gonna start this. What was the first thing we did when we partnered?
So we left last episode. We talked a bit about Dale, because it was 3 of us to start, and then Dale stepped away. We love you, Dale. If you ever listen,
great mentor.
Yeah, and then we became 50-50 partners. And I had transitioned out of a career. You'd already been a realtor for 5 or 6 years.
Yep.
Right. So then I became a realtor, and here we are. And it was scary leaving an $80,000 a year salary, jumping into something that has no base salary. It is a performance-based business. You sell, you eat, if you want to put it in the short way. And if you don't, well, you're not really making any money. So it was a really scary time, but an exciting time. It was so exciting for me to be all of a sudden from employee to business owner. I think anyone who's gone from that transition knows the excitement and uncertainty and scariness of it. And it was really cool. So
yeah. And I would say, like, so I was a realtor for 5-6 years. We're both still learning today, but I was learning then, but it was also fun to be like, Brent, this is what I already know. Like, don't make this mistake. You're doing great here. Oh, you're dealing with this situation. Here's my thoughts. That was fun to kind of grow together in that. So I think when we started, it was like in August or September. And for the first 5-6 months, our office was my home office. I had an outside door. That's where we would meet to plan, because there actually was a lot of planning that went to, like, okay, let's get a new logo. Let's create some buyer's guides, a seller's guide. How are we going to prospect? Where are we going after? Right. So
you had 99 designs for the logo, the website where you can You basically submit for cheap the name that you want, which we had decided. We talked about different names. We talked about like there's real estate teams that have just the name of something. So we had talked about maybe be called Mint, or I don't know if you had any other.
We were ahead of Mint Mobile's time, because
Yeah.
that would have been before.
That would have been right. So we talked about that, and they were like, "No, what do we?" And we came down to let's go with our last names. It's recognizable. There's other brands that we know that have their last names, and so we came up with Leffers and Rook. So you basically punch that in. Here's what we want our name to be. Here's what we want our here's our industry, and make us a design, and then you just submit it on this website, and then all these designers try to.
And we wanted an arrow in there, because we wanted L&R, Leffers Rook. We wanted an arrow in there because our goal was like, hey, we want people to make a move in the right direction. We don't just want to be transactional. Like, we actually want people to move forward in their real estate journey. And I would say that's like, we don't use that terminology, but it still is very true in what we do today.
Mm-hmm. And the branding work. We still use the brand. We got a ton of swag. I still like it. It's good. Right there. Represent.
Still got the arrow there. Yeah.
Yeah. So the leather patch. Yeah, we like that. So that was kind of the start. And we were meeting in your 10 by 10 office at your house. I lived in Abbotsford, and then we just drive to Langley, and we kind of worked out of there.
Yeah.
And
within 6 months, an opportunity came up. My father-in-law has an office in Langley right by Canadian Tire, and that was 700 square feet. And it was an option. He wasn't using it. Also, it was an option for us to take that over. Great location. Which ended up being close to our future brokerage. It's nice to have something small. It's about 700 square feet, and it was just me and Brent in there, and we were kind of getting lonely.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
There's overhead.
Yeah, that's true.
That we didn't have.
That is true.
But
it was a $30,000 reno.
Yeah, but so that's because business was going well.
Oh, did we do that later?
Right. Well, no, yeah. I don't know if it was in the first 6 months. It was pretty fast, but like to start, I had, without any idea of how it was going to go, for me personally, we had in our first year, we both did over 30 deals a year. And for year one, for me, not knowing how it's going to go, to do 31 deals and make way more money than I'd ever made in my life that way.
You needed some write-offs.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I was super thankful, like praise God for that. And it was a crazy time to just go through it emotionally. Like just from the uncertainty, like, wow, to what is this, to, oh man, this might actually work. This business is growing. And then you and me talking about, man, we need an office space. So the overhead I remember it wasn't that high.
What was it a month that we paid for rent there? $1,800?
I want to say even less. Like 12 to 1,500.
Yeah.
And it was just enough space for the two of us. And then when we both did 30 transactions, so as realtors, you know, people sometimes just see the highlights, but basically when you're doing that many transactions a year, you're in front of people, and then you need to stop at like the office or a coffee shop and try to do as much paperwork as you can, and then go on the road again in front of somebody else, and then stop and do as much paperwork as you can, and then at night getting caught up on paperwork and all the little details that you miss because you're meeting with people all day. Because to do that many deals, you need to be in front of a lot more people than that, because you're not going to get them all, or you're going to consult buyers that aren't going to buy it. Like your funnel has to be quite a bit bigger in order for that to happen. Yeah. So I just remember running around like crazy. And, you know, my wife was really gracious about it. She knew, and I learned this from my dad. He's like, when you start a business, if you're not willing to sacrifice for the first 5 years and like hustle, and your wife's not on board because you're going to be gone a lot of nights, there's no point in even starting. Mm-hmm. You have to be ready to sacrifice. And that was kind of my mindset. So we just started all day, a lot of nights, and then the new office space. And then you and I realizing like, hey, we need someone to help pick up all the little details in our business.
And so I would say it was totally doable without an assistant, but you're right. It's it's 10 to 11:30 at night. I'm going to prep my listing for tomorrow. I'll be home, but I'm home for an hour for dinner. Sorry, I'm not home for dinner tonight. More Saturday stuff. So you're filling in all, like you said, that paperwork stuff. When you have time, early morning, late at night. So we're like, if this can free up that time by getting an assistant, and hopefully the assistant does a better job, more efficient than us even on that paperwork side, it's going to allow us to build and grow. So I would actually say to realtors, I want to say if you're hitting 20 deals, you could almost use an assistant. Is that fair?
I would put the line at about 30.
30?
But
Yeah. Well,
maybe it's right in the middle. Maybe it's 25.
But yeah, for sure.
Right? Or you can afford the overhead, and actually, if you want to save yourself time. If there's one thing I've learned from any really successful realtor, and we've been to a bunch of these conferences now, mastermind events with some of the best realtors in the country, it's that they all almost push themselves to burnout before they were like, I need to scale this thing. Yes, I made good money, but I'm killing myself as far as time, hours. There's so many sad stories of like divorce in real estate and strained marriages and not enough time with the kids. And it doesn't have to be like that. And I'm so thankful that we recognized that pretty much after year one. And it was like, okay, we had an opportunity because Lindsay, who, shout out to Lindsay, fantastic human being and assistant for so many years till she decided to get married, start a family, and
she's still a fantastic human being.
Yeah, she's still a fantastic human being, but she left us. Okay, but no, so we had an opportunity with her coming down from Houston, not Smithers. I've learned that you can't combine the two. So from Houston for part-time work, and so we're like, hey, what if we take on this assistant part-time, right? Yeah. And then
which is also a little scary. Because we're like, that's more overhead.
Yeah.
But if I can, let me jump into what you were saying about how people that have done well in real estate and then push themselves. Mm-hmm. One thing you hear so often is people saying, trying to find balance, right? It's work, it's family, it's health, it's faith or hobby, whatever it is, trying to find that balance. And I heard Coach Keith, a coach we've had before, say, no, the word you need to look for is harmony. Like that's where our values really align in our team is we want to find harmony in all those things. And not just us, but also like wanting to see it in our clients. But we weren't willing to sacrifice, like we knew when we were pushing too hard that we didn't want to sacrifice that. So whether that's, Brent's going on holidays, I'm covering for him or vice versa. And now then getting to this assistant being like, okay, we need to, if we want to grow and if we want to still strive for that harmony, it is hard. We need an assistant. So then it was started as part-time. I think, was she half-time, I think at that point?
Yeah, she started off just part-time, and we quickly realized that, oh, no, this could be a full-time position. Yeah. We love this. And so for those who don't know, like, just real quick in real estate, what that looks like is, the important part of any person in sales is to be belly to belly. You want to be in front of people. You want to be advising them. You want to be coaching them through the big decisions. What's still important to do a good job is all the paperwork that then follows that. So like, it's like, okay, we got a listing. Great. What needs to happen? It's like, we got to pull title. We got to do research on the property. We got to figure out what it's worth. And then you got to there's a whole bunch of documents that you got to prep to bring to the client. And then you got to take those documents. They got to get to the brokerage. And then there's some back and forth with the brokerage. It's got to get to the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board. And there's little tasks like making sure your sign gets up and where are the lock boxes. You got to make sure that gets on the listing. And there's all these little things that
and you're just
need to happen.
You're just touching on probably a tenth.
You're right.
Of what goes into a listing, right? Like there is a lot. So when people say like, what do you do in a day? It's like, I can't just tell you, like, because from one day to the next, it actually is a lot of different things, but there is just way more to real estate than people think.
I think
if you're selling on the sell side, on the buy side, and prospecting and business building, there's a lot to it.
Yeah. And I think a good way to almost summarize the career is like, can you do a whole lot of little things with a whole lot of different people
at once
and stay organized doing it?
That's a good way to put it.
Right? Like that is ultimately it. And there's people that can do that and there's people that can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think when we built out our system and our process now, so if we get a listing, there's just a 100+ checklist now that our assistant, like she goes through and just runs through it. And that way nothing's missed and it's actually processed. So you can actually, have a life and do real estate.
Well, to throw a little bit more context to that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say, like, I think the most listings we've ever held at one time was about 35. But I would say is that right?
Sounds like we should have been selling.
Yeah.
Probably.
But that was for a while when things, it was churn. No, it was high because people were still selling and still listing, and things were starting to slow down a little bit. But I would say on average that number is probably 15, 12. Let's say it's 12 to 20. So between
This
our
market?
team,
Yeah.
right? Between our team, there's 12 to 20 listings.
Yeah.
And you're churning those or selling them, then new ones come on, but that's your average. So you're dealing with that many. And then on the buy side, we might each have a list of buyers of, let's say it's 15 that are categorized differently. Some people are here ready to go now because I've already sold. Some people are I don't need to sell, but I'm waiting for the right property. So we don't ever categorize them as A, B, C, and D. Like, we won't do that. But they're at different stages of their purchasing or buying cycle. So if I got 15, Brent's got 15, that's where you go to. It's a lot of different people with a lot of different things. And it's always on your mind, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to compartmentalize all these different things, and having an assistant to take a lot of the clerical work or the administration work takes a big load off.
Yeah. And you need so we got the office space, we got the assistant, and we ended up loving both.
Yeah. Which
is awesome, because the office ended up allowing us to have a central hub that we could grow out of for good value.
Yeah.
I didn't love driving to Langley every day from Abbotsford, but it was otherwise. I don't know how you won that. We're in Abbotsford now, I guess, right? But
it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, it was. And I did love it as well. And then full-time assistant, so that helped us to scale, and that was super important. And then from there, we grew again, which was with your brother.
Yeah. So then it was like,
Ryan.
Yeah, so we're like, hey, I don't remember. I'd have to ask Ryan how that conversation started, if I came to him or he came to me. I don't remember, but I do just remember thinking, like, he's got a good personality on like the servant side. Like, Ryan likes to serve. We know he's got a similar side to us as far as the values go. So we thought it would be a good fit. Something with Leffers and Rook, I think that we can say and will always say, is that we want everybody that works here or with us to have a similar value set, because then you will get along better. And whether Ryan's looking after one of our clients or we're looking at, like, it just through the whole thing, we know that people are just going to get, the Leffers and Rook way of doing things. Experience. That's the word.
That's the word you want.
Yeah.
So but when Ryan came on, he was, like, again, brand new to the industry, and it was tough. Like, he also didn't grow up here. He didn't have a ton of connections. So pretty quickly we switched him actually to another more administrative role. Not really administrative, but so we had Lindsay that was doing all kind of the paperwork and small details. And then Ryan kind of became like a fill-in and a, like, research guru. And that's what
buyer's agent a little bit.
Yeah, so he would cover showings for us. He would. So we had him more on a like pay per deal rate for helping us out on each deal. So that would be his incentive. And then we were able, in turn, to be in front of more people doing more deals because we had that as well. I actually really enjoyed that position. And there's, like, now we have Ruth and Kiera, and they both, and we'll get to what their roles are. But I do miss certain things that Ryan did for us. And now he's being a real successful realtor himself with our team. So yeah, shout out to you, Ryan. You're killing it.
I think it benefited him getting to see a lot of deals from us, right? And then bouncing things off, right?
So all of a sudden he's got experience in 80 deals. Yeah. Instead of, maybe a new realtor doing like 5, he's touching 80 and being in front of different people and doing research on different properties and being exposed to commercial, residential. I think it was an amazing way for him to start. I think it served him a good purpose. It also served us a really good purpose, because even for us, it's like we talked about harmony. Well, that allowed us to, churn 40 to 50 deals each in a year, and still have, like, your Saturday to spend some time with your family, and still have some weeknights, because Ryan could run around with buyers on weeknights if you were double booked with something. A lot of people work during the day and want to see real estate at night. So he was able to help us that. So it was kind of just an organic, natural way for us to grow the team, I think.
Totally. I think it benefited us. It benefited Ryan. Yeah, it was great. And then, so Ryan, if we're going on 10 years now, Ryan would be 8 to 9. Like, he came pretty quick, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. Within a year or two. Yeah.
And then the next one would have been Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle joined us, I want to say it's been 6 years for her, 5-6 years for her. We were still at the last office. We Brent and I talked about growing because we had our processes down. We had an assistant.
So this time we built the CRM. So before we get into
that's true.
that, this is what we were talking about, the brokerage. A few things in real estate, and I know we're not necessarily talking to realtors here, but if you are a realtor listening, like you don't have a CRM, get one. If you don't have your processes written down, write them down for your buyers, for your sellers. Build it in your CRM. Put every person you meet that's a client in your CRM. That way you have a ways to track them, right? And for example, for us, there's touch points for everyone. There's birthdays. Everyone gets a gift card on their birthday. It's just a great way to actually keep track of all the people you get to work with.
Invites to our two parties every year.
Yeah, a couple client parties that you can blast out invites. So it's key. And so we had found success in the first few years of building this stuff out, building a CRM, and then we wanted to share it at the brokerage. So we were asked to kind of share about scaling and building teams for those who are learning. And that's when we kind of threw it out there. Like, hey, we actually are growing. And if there's anyone that's interested in joining a team, like, please reach out to us.
Well, I want to say at that point, we actually started to feel like we had something to offer of value to other agents, right? We wouldn't have done that in the years prior. Like we offered value to our clients, but now having a team, having processes, having a CRM, having an assistant, us both having experience, we're like, there's, I think, an opportunity for agents to start joining our team because we can show value. We're going to provide all the systems, provide photo, video with White Cloud. Shout out to Jeremy and Adrian. Everything's set up. You come here, we're going to give you some leads as well, but you can go pound the pavement. And when you get a lead, you get a buyer or a seller, we have all the systems and processes in place. So we had just kind of put it out there like, hey, we're looking to grow our team. Mm-hmm. And then I was kind of tasked, I think, a little bit to go find that agent. I remember looking at Indeed. I did ask around a little bit, but then Michelle phoned us. And
it's like, hey, I heard your chat. I didn't know who you guys were. Yeah. But I'd like to chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how long she was a realtor for. I want to say 6 to 12 months. But we sat down with her, asked her a bunch of questions. She asked us questions. I don't remember the whole conversation.
Well, she
but
left
I remember
the meeting and we kind of looked at each other. We're like,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we both remember that. Like when she left, we're like, she's a fit.
She's a go-getter, hustler. Somehow, this woman crushes it in real estate, runs her family like well. Like she is dialed.
It's not easy being a realtor with a family, and I know it's way harder to be a mom realtor
with young kids.
Yeah, there was definitely some bring kids to work days, often, but it worked.
Yeah, she had a baby while she was working, right?
Yeah,
there's been 2.
I think so. Yeah,
I thought she had 3. Only 2. Okay.
So shout out to Michelle.
But she had babies in the office for the meetings, but she was working on her career and being a mom and doing it all. And so I got a ton of respect for that. And she's still hustling to this day. It's been a long time now, but she's been another great asset to the team. And she brings a lot of fun to the office. I think the different personalities, she brings a lot of fun.
Actually, we actually wanted to have a female join our team too, because we had Lindsay, but we're like, hey, let's
realtors
get
out
more well-rounded.
It's just
right?
three guys, right?
Yeah.
And there's stuff that guys just miss.
It's
just not as good, right? You need the woman's touch. So
what I will say, it's been awesome, and I really think she has again the same characteristics, values that we do, and we mutually benefit from that. So yeah, I love that our team is very little drama in a real estate world where there is lots of drama. We've got each other's backs. We know that if we're working with one of Michelle's clients or vice versa, we're all going to do a good job for each other's clients, and we can trust that of each other. So we've been very thankful to have her join our team.
Well, and people out there might wonder too, why would realtors join a team as opposed to just being on their own? Maybe I think the general public would wonder that. And we've talked about it a lot. And Darren touched on it. But yeah, when you get into real estate as a realtor, you're kind of just like, okay, I got my license. Like, what do I do? Like, I gotta go help people buy and sell. But then the real problem is they actually don't have a community or connection, or not near enough, of who is going to buy and sell with them.
Yeah.
How do you, especially if you're young, how do you walk into, a listing and get the appointment? How do you get the phone call to get in that door? You're actually just not going to, right? They become a realtor and they just type on Facebook, like, hey, I became a realtor. Give me a call for all your buying and selling needs. Enter. And then, like, sit back, hold your hands, and wait for the phone to ring. And then people don't think enough about how hard prospecting is. And I'd say that business, if you do it well, especially listings, leads to more business.
Yeah.
One way that we've always operated on a few things is like, if you do a good job for someone, I think they'll tell about 10 people. If you do a bad job for someone, I always tell myself in my head that they might tell 50 people.
Yeah.
And that's a terrifying thought. And that's also motivating to like make sure you do a really good job from start to finish. So to circle back, that led to our business kind of exploding. I think we were organized and we do a good job for people. Whereas we got a train outside our office here, guys, and paper thin windows, which is what all that honking is. We love our windows, but they're paper thin. But yeah, so that led to our business exploding, a referral base. And these new realtors, they don't know exactly how to make that happen. So they come under a team and it's like, okay, we're going to provide you with some leads. We're going to provide you with a brand that's known and trusted. And we're going to provide you with like all your expenses covered. So all you need to do now is go out and sell. You only have to worry about one thing. And there's still like, it still takes skill. There's a lot of realtors that still won't find success. So I don't want to downplay what their role is, but that is why a realtor would join a team.
Yeah. If you become a realtor, no matter what, if you have no listings and you're just working with buyers, in a year, what would you say your minimum expenses are? If you wanted to be a realtor, first year.
Between a real estate,
let's say you list.
Isn't it like 15 to 20 grand if you just sold nothing?
I would say no matter what, it's going to cost you 40 grand between your being at a brokerage, gas, computer, any subscriptions that you need to have, a little bit of marketing if you get some listings. So no matter what, you're 40 grand. That's before you even make any money, right? So you have to make 120 grand to actually take home 80 grand. And that's at a minimum.
You get paid tax, man.
Yeah. So
forget about tax.
Yeah. So by joining a team, you can take away a lot of those expenses because there's economies of scale through the team. So I do think it's very attractive. I mean, there's people that join team. It's not what they expect. They go back on their own. It's not for everybody, but there definitely is value in joining a team if a team's run right and it can give you guidance, can give you experience.
Well, there's also a difference between a salesperson and a business owner, right? And I think we approach it as business owners. How can we grow? How can we scale? How can we teach? How can we lead?
Yeah. How can we serve?
And there's people that they are more just like sales and they're actually going to be totally unorganized in the business as well. And so it has to come, like you need someone that can do both.
Yeah.
And then you create a good platform for people. And there's a bunch of teams that are doing it really, really well. And I think it's the main reason why our team was able to grow.
Yeah. And we did have a couple other people that joined our team and it didn't work out for different reasons. And we were okay with that. Right. And they saw a better fit elsewhere or to be on their own. That's fine. You do definitely learn from things right? Like there's growth. Mm-hmm. So having Ryan for all these years, having Michelle for all these years, that does show something. I think it shows that we appreciate them and that they appreciate what we offer. And we had Lindsay till she moved on, and now Ruth for a few years and Kiara for a few years. Like I really like where we're at, and it's kind of gone. Now we're like, what's next, right? Where do we grow from here? So, but
John,
well, back it was Ruth. Like me and Brent wanted to be like, okay, we want to market our properties better than anybody. So it is a given that it goes on MLS. And some realtors, that's all they do. Pull out their iPhone. And they've gotten better, but they're still not good. Snap a bunch of pictures, maybe take a video on their own, post it on MLS, and wait. We did not want to do that. We hired photographers. We hired videographers. We do drone. So started, I think before Jeremy even started, Kotala, who also do a great job. We transitioned to White Cloud with Jeremy, but we wanted to make sure that we were doing the best where we could. So
You have to be the best every part of the way.
Yeah.
Starts with marketing,
so then
goes through your processes.
adding to marketing, we're like, what? How can we do this better? Staging.
Yeah.
So for years, we're like, how do we do this? Because we don't want to we're not going to move in couches.
Okay, so side note about this. Side note. My wife used to thought it was hilarious that me would walk through people's houses and advise them on how to prep their house for listing. Because she's like, I would not let you give me advice in my house. I wouldn't let you touch it with a 10-foot pole. Because she did it all. But I don't know. I could give the high level advice on what looked good. I think
My sales, or if I'm trying to sell us, I'm like, and we have Ruth. And Ruth is a stager, and she's going to come through your home. She's going to make it look awesome. She's going to tell you to put this there, tell you to put that there, because I am not very good at that. Part of the reason I'm not good at that is I don't want to tell people, it looks like you're a little cluttered here. Ruth does a way better job, and I tell them, you're going to like Ruth way better than you like me or Brent.
Yeah. She brings a unique mix of I think when people meet Ruth, they look at her and they'll be like, man, she looks fancy. Ruth's always well dressed. She's always well put together, and she's kind of a designer / stager. So you can picture a human being being they don't want to get their hands dirty. They want to tell you what to do. Whereas Ruth shows up, she kind of looks like that, but then she rolls up her sleeves and outworks you, which is the crazy part, which is really cool about Ruth.
She will wipe dried nasty cat pee off someone's floor. She's not gonna be like, I'm not touching that. She's like, her? I wasn't there, or else it definitely would help her. I was like,
Brad from that one.
Not what I thought your job was, but I'm not gonna tell you not to, but appreciate that. So
she's been a huge asset to our team. And again, another reason why growing a team, and then when the general public asks, well, why would I use an individual agent versus Leffers and Rook? It's now there's all these different layers that you're getting, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Ruth there. We should bring this back a bit to we had Ryan, we grew with Michelle, we were at the office, and then we eventually left Langley and went to Abbotsford.
Yep. Oh yeah. So that would have been, what are we going on? 3-4 years now?
2021.
So our office is currently in the old postal office in Abbotsford. A lot of people know what that. The older
Escape
generation
rooms.
will know that. The younger generation will know escape room. Actually, maybe not the younger, maybe our generation.
I never went.
Yeah, I did once. I think I escaped.
Here?
Yeah. When I was walking through, I'm like, I think I remember this room. So
corner office, 3rd floor.
Yeah, we first were thinking about buying one, and we wrote an offer on one.
We did across the road.
Yep.
Listed for $650,000.
Would have still been probably a good
$600,000. It was a lot of money for 1,000 square feet of office. $650,000 for 1,000 square feet of office.
But it was nicely updated.
It was really nice. There wasn't a lot that we had to do in there.
Yeah.
It was good. That would have been really, really cool. But we ended up finding this. It's a good lease and good landlord. And we just did another TI in here, and we were very happy with how it turned out. And we had to do it because we needed a more central location as well, because I had always lived in Abbotsford since I bought an acre in Yarrow and built a house kind of around that time. So I was going a little bit further east. That's my wife's fault. She dragged me to Yarrow, which now I'm appreciative of. But at the time, it was supposed to be an investment property. It's actually a really cool story. I'll tell another time. But my wife fell in love with this property that was supposed to be an investment property with a client. And then she's like, no, we're actually going to live there. And I was like, oh, really? And we argued about that for a few weeks. Anyways, so I was in Yarrow. Kiera on our team, who we haven't even got to yet, but we will. She's in Chilliwack. John, who we haven't really talked about yet.
East Chilliwack.
He's in East Chilliwack. Ryan gets married and moves to DeRoche.
Where's that?
Exactly. It's like another Houston. He probably feels right at home there. And then Darren's still in Langley, just like you've always been out in Langley, which is great. You still complain about the drive to Abbotsford now.
I'm close.
First time he's had a commute in years.
I'm going to be further away in 6 months, but
I don't even feel bad for you.
Oh, I don't want you to.
Okay, good. And then
Ruth's in Abbotsford. Ruth's the smart one.
Ruth's in Abbotsford. She's right in the middle of it all. And then
she's got a 5-minute commute.
And Michelle's in Maple Ridge. Probably the most unique real estate team. Actually, if you think about it, we come from everywhere, and we right to Abbotsford.
Brent and I were saying, what are some things that you would change? I said this isn't really something I would change, but I can appreciate realtors that have farm areas that are close and they are not driving all the time, because one day I can be in North Delta, the next day I can be in Chilliwack.
Hope.
Yeah, I don't venture out to Hope much. Brent has. So Hope, Chilliwack is kind of like my boundary. Langley's kind of Brent's boundary.
Surrey sucks.
He'll go to Surrey, but
I
Surrey,
will.
Yeah,
I will. Surrey doesn't suck. The traffic in Surrey sucks. So I basically in my head I'm always like anything past 196 is dead to me, unless it's like north of the highway in Port Kellis. So Darren's there. We do have a lot of clients in
We'll
Surrey.
still
as
take
well.
your listing.
Yeah,
we'll still help you.
We'll still do it. One of my first condos was in Vancouver. I remember I drove over the bridge like 20 times.
I remember that
You
one.
just take what you
Was
can
that
get.
just south of Falls Creek?
Always. That was right by Granville Island.
Yeah.
Right by Granville Island. So, it's just take what you can get mentality wherever it is. And we kind of still operate under that way because the team is so broad, right? Like we do deals in Kelowna.
You know what we got to do? I think we've kind of done this. But
Vancouver Island.
We have to take like a map of the Lower Mainland and put pins wherever we've done deals, and guaranteed we will have like a way wider
We should
grasp
put a
than
big
anybody.
thing on the wall. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Every deal you've ever done.
Let's do it.
It's that
Good
wall
wall right there.
Yeah, that could look good.
But so I would say that's been something that has been a bit of a struggle because we put a lot of miles on, but it also expands where we do business and expands opportunity.
Well, and a lot of people were moving from west to east throughout our careers.
It was young people moving from west to east, and now their parents are moving from west to east. That's what we're noticing, following them.
And we have a very good grasp on the market, west and east. So it's like perfect one-stop shop for everyone, right? I just had it again. We still get asked the question. Like I drove out to Murrayville. I just got a listing that I was competing on against a couple other agents. And one of the questions they asked me was like, well, how well do you know Langley? Like we know you drove out from Yarrow. I'm like, yeah, it's a great question. But I was like, actually, my business partner, Darren, still lives in Murrayville. Well, you don't live in Murrayville, but you're about to live in Murrayville again. And I said, I grew up, I spent years in Murrayville, and then I moved to Abbotsford, bought a house, and then I moved to Yarrow and bought a house, and now our office is in Abbotsford. We sell everywhere. Like, we definitely know our area. There's no doubt about it. So I think I completely, they were obviously rest assured I got the listing. Yeah. But it's a good question because it's not every agent that's, driving from Yarrow.
There's people in Langley that refer out to Chilliwack.
Yeah.
We wouldn't dream of that.
Not a chance.
That's where I'm there. I'm going to be there twice this week.
Yeah, if you don't feel like driving it, then I'll do it.
Yeah. That is one way that we could probably be better if we're like, hey, you just
Darren, Langley,
stay here.
Yeah. But it's nice to go everywhere too. Like we've learned at this point, we're 10 years in, we've learned the markets. Yep. There's not a lot of types of real estate in those areas that'll surprise us. Yeah. Which has been
the odd time we will get someone say, oh, you're a Langley agent, or oh, you live in Chilliwack. It's like, okay, hold on. I can tell you right now, I do more business than the person you're thinking about in years, right? Like,
so it's like that's not the area specialist that you need, actually.
Yeah. I would say that is definitely a false thought. The area expert.
It's like good branding, though.
It is good branding, but like, how many deals are they doing actually in that neighborhood, right? There are some, but a lot of people, I would say, use that. Yeah. So,
but yeah, Abbotsford was nice to have the central hub. And it was nice to grow. And then from here...
Well, a lot of teams don't have their own office. They're still going to the brokerage.
They go to the brokerage,
right? So to have our own thing here, we've hosted some first-time home buyer events.
We have a huge storage room where we can keep all our signs, keep all our swag.
They're not in our garage for us. Or in our trunk of the car.
Desks for everybody. Boardroom table we meet at every single Monday. All things I think that keep us consistent with the ability to grow. Yeah. So all things that are important.
So now that we're at Ruth, and we were talking about Lindsay leaving, who was next on the list?
First of all, before we get off Lindsay, I do want to shout her out. Like, she was fantastic, really good at what she did, and it was a tough blow. She
helped us grow
almost from the start
and be better.
Yeah, and she lived and breathed Leffers and Rook. You don't meet employees very often that do that, right? She wore it like it was hers. Yeah. And that is, that's something that we'll always have, right? And now, so to replace her was really hard. And what we knew, and everything in our business has been, was hiring for character and word of mouth. And that's what happened with Kiera.
She actually a referral from Ruth?
Yeah.
Partly?
And she was doing nothing like the administrative type role she is. I think she was in a clothing store. pretty young.
She still tells us when we're wearing something we shouldn't be wearing.
And she's like a few years younger again. So now all of a sudden we're dealing with like this different generation. And I remember sitting down with her for the interview, and she basically interviewed me. Like, I'm like, what is happening here? She's like, oh, like, what kind of benefits will I get? And what are my hours going to look like? And what is, ask me all these questions. I'm like,
That's awesome.
Excuse
That's
me?
That's the
I'm like,
best way to interview is to ask questions of your
Well, yeah.
interviewer.
Well, you know.
She put you on the spot.
She actually did. She did a good job. And I know, after the meeting, I was like, hey, she's sharp. She's eager. She wants to learn. It sounded like she really wanted the job. And also we checked on like personalities is important for an administrative role. And over the years, Darren and I have taken a few of them. So one of them is called Widget, which basically takes a task from start to finish. It's like all the letters of it. So WIDGET.
Yeah.
And an
Tenacious.
administrative
Tenacious?
assistant should be kind of ET, crossing T's, dotting the I's.
Yeah.
And she fit that perfectly as well. And she was eager. So we hired on character, and hey, here we are. That was in 2024.
Yep.
We're 2026, a couple years in, and hiring on character is 100% the way to go. If you're looking to hire, I think you teach the role and hire on the person, because Kira has been fantastic. She had huge shoes to fill.
Yep.
She's learned a ton. It was one of the scarier times in our business, like having Lindsay
Because we
go
were
and having to
super
replace
busy
that.
too.
The market was insane.
Yeah.
Like everything was anyway. So it was a tough transition, but Kara's done extremely well. She also wears the brand proud. Like one of her goals this year too is to like be the reason we make a few sales by, you know, getting the word out there to people she knows in her sphere. She is heavily invested even in like, you know, we're doing a podcast. She wants to know all about it.
We got in trouble for not sending the first episode to her.
Yeah, which we get in trouble. We get in trouble all the time. She harasses you for paperwork, which is what we need, right?
Yeah.
Never
What?
harasses me for paperwork. I'm just kidding.
I'm just shrugging this off because we know it's true. So
Yeah,
I'll admit
that
to
position
it. Brent just won't admit to it.
definitely keeps us organized, right?
But I remember when she'll tell us now that I think both of us, she was actually not threatened. What's the word I'm going for? Like she didn't know how to take us to start, and we kept telling her like, don't take us too serious. Like if we're gonna make a joke about something, like we are completely not serious. Like I actually think we're quite easygoing. We'll tell her if something needs improvement, but like we're pretty easygoing, and as long as the job gets done, we want everyone at Leffers and Rook to enjoy working.
Well, so we're working hard. Like my attitude is always like, I'm gonna go out and work really hard. I expect you to work really hard and do your job well, but I also want to give you complete freedom. Like if you can do that really efficiently, and then you need to like leave early or take a weekend off or whatever it looks like there's a lot of freedom in that, and I think people love freedom and they love being part of a team.
Yeah, she was surprised that she could just like so easily take a day off here, take a day off there. Like, if you're getting the work done, that's all we care about.
Yeah, that's a good culture. I think it's part of the culture that
is.
we built, which is important in the team as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where we at?
Well, we're missing John.
Sean, another organic growth.
Yeah.
I remember. So I think I chatted with John a lot more to start, right?
Yeah.
But
we both had
deals, right?
deals. So
okay.
Tell yours, and then I'll tell mine, and then how it came together.
So John builds houses in Chilliwack, and he's very good at that
30 years.
for a long time. And then John decided that realtors make too much money, so he was like, "I'm going to become a realtor."
No, I don't even know if his realtors make too much money. It was realtors make too much money off of me.
Yeah, that was definitely his attitude. He built too many houses and worked with people, and then so he is like, "I'm going to become a realtor." But anyway, so I had buyers that bought one of John's houses, and we mostly dealt with him direct during this process. And then Darren had a set of clients that bought another one of John's houses. This is like 6 months later, and both transactions went really, really well with my communication with John, with Darren's communication with John. And
we both appreciated how well he built homes and what was important to him.
And he was chill. He was just good all around dude. Again, we like character.
Yeah.
But then I remember a few months goes by, and then my phone rings, and it's John, and he's like, "Hey, Brent, like, I'm a realtor, and I'm trying to figure out he likes real estate and that, but he was kind of like, he's like, I was thinking maybe I should join a team." And I remember being like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, John, like, what do you mean you want to join a team? You've used like, I don't know how many other realtors all in Chilliwack, and your buddies with different realtors in Chilliwack. like we've done one deal together. We're from like a Langley brokerage. I didn't actually take the phone call that seriously, and he was just kind of like, chatting for fun, and it was like, oh, we had a good chat, we liked each other, and then we kind of left it. And then he called back again, like another couple months, and it was actually a little bit more serious. He's like, hey, I actually think that we should talk. And I was like, okay. So I remember we had a meeting, and he's just like, hey, I think I could use some help on the hill that we're selling in Shannon Heights. And I think that I would like some support with all my paperwork and all my processes and that kind of stuff, because he doesn't want to be bogged down, especially this guy that's like a super successful developer now being bogged down with like your basic, real estate paperwork. It's just not something. So it was kind of like one of those fits where it was, we like you, you like us, you don't really need us, we don't really need you, but this might actually work perfectly.
Yeah, and we definitely had value to help him out with. And in the end, now we're partnering really on the marketing of Shannon Heights, which is a 51 lot subdivision that he's building out. We just started phase 2, almost sold out of phase 1. So I want to say we've learned from him a lot. He's learned from us. That's kind of been our story, I guess, is like us learning from each other, benefiting from each other. Ryan, Michelle, same thing. Lindsay, like we benefit from Lindsay and Kira and Ruth. Our clients all benefit from like it's a lot of just mutual our growth. We never would have been like, here's what we're doing going forward. But looking back, it was like it all made sense.
It all made sense at the time, and that's where we were asking ourselves for this podcast, like what are some things we can leave with people, or like your biggest regrets trying to grow the business? And I think it was just a lot of like almost perfect timing. Like we
there wasn't a lot of regrets.
No, because we somehow got ahead of it. Was like, hey, we're selling a lot of real estate and our life sucks right now because we have no time with our family, time with the kids. We should maybe get an assistant. It's like, okay.
Most people would say, oh, boo-hoo.
And then that went really, really well. So we're like, okay, now we've built this platform with assistant. Maybe it would make a lot of sense for like your brother. And it was like, oh, he's there. And then we decided we'll take on another agent because this is working. And then Michelle came and it was fantastic. And then it's, the way Ruth and Kiera work, I kind of separate those roles in, to dumb it down would be like people and paper.
Yep.
So Ruth is client care coordinator. She deals with all the people, all the little things in front of people with like staging and listing prep and all that and showing requests. And again, freeing up more of our time on all these little tasks that need to happen. It sounds dumb when you say like, setting up lock boxes and signs and buying gifts. But if you do 100 transactions a year, that's 100 gifts. And if you actually want to have a normal gift, that means basically every 3 days of the year, you're thinking about, okay, what gift card am I getting? Oh no, I don't want to get a gift card. I want to get a gift back. Oh, where am I going to get this? Now I got to get this.
It's economies of scale.
Running around and it is. So now it's like all of a sudden Ruth is like super thoughtful and she gets way better gifts than we ever did, and she helps us come up with them, and she runs around and grabs them. So that's actually,
and it's in a basket or
it looks pretty.
Not all of them, but
I was like in a pile in the back of my truck. I just like throw it on the kitchen island and say, here you go, look what I got you. Now it's like this beautiful basket.
Yeah.
People never believe me that I wrapped it. But
I give Ruth credit right away.
Yeah, so she's the face with the people.
You say people and paper, and then it's like it's client care and like clerical stuff, right?
Yeah, and Kara would be all paper, so she's prepping all the listings.
But they connect a lot too, right? And they get along
back
like
forth,
so.
Yeah, going back and forth brokerage, keeping us organized with paperwork, so key. She's more in the office like every single day. Whereas Ruth is, I don't even know where she is every day. She's just everywhere.
We actually do get a lot of questions from other realtors, like, how do you guys do it? Right. And we've also had a conversation with a lot of other teams. And what we found is each team runs very differently.
Yeah.
It's very people dependent, and everybody's in a different situation in their life. If it's a male or a female realtor, a mom or a dad at home, how many kids, like everybody's situation is different. So every team is run differently. We've talked to people, we've used some things in our business. There's some things where like that would never fly. We're not going that way. So going forward, there is going to be times where it's like, hey, let's make this little tweak. Mm-hmm. We might run into a realtor tomorrow that wants to join our team, and we might be like, that's the perfect fit. We're not out there to be like, hey, let's grow. We need to add more agents, because it is more management time for you and I, which we really enjoyed with Ryan and Michelle, right? Helping them out, helping them grow, but that's time as well. So we're in a really good, small, still, I don't know, are we a small team? Like, I think we do well with what we have in front of us. Yeah. I'm not going to say, are we a small giant? Can I say that?
Yeah, I think in some ways, like it's always been about, if we were to like summarize the business, it's been a natural organic growth, but we were business minded. So it's a small business that has had some natural growth, but we never wanted to be the agent that's like, I think the general MO for agents is like, I got to sell, sell, sell. I got to work 24/7. I got to answer my texts and my calls whenever I can. I got to work all the time and I got to grind, 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 hustle, grind, hustle, grind. And it's like, okay, can we not build this like someone else would build their business, right?
Yeah.
Like be good at what you do, but during normal hours, scale up what you can scale so that you can do the important things in your business and like see where that takes you. And that's been almost the reason of every decision we make. Even now, I go like, when we're doing a lot, it's like, okay, what we always talk about this, what holes are in our business now? And right now we feel that there's still, even though we have Ruth and Kiera, sometimes there's some overlap that we need to tweak, or there's still a couple holes in there. Like for instance, we never require Kiera to work after 4 p.m. So she's off, and she will fill in the odd time if it's an emergency. And Lindsay always did that too for us, which is amazing.
But we love writing contracts, me or you, at 7:00 at night.
At night, it just comes up. Right? So then you're still writing contracts and doing stuff at night when it can't wait.
So we can still get better. We definitely know that. There's ways to improve.
Yeah, I think some people have a little bit more 24/7 coverage, or now there's like AI. How do you integrate that in your business, in your CRM, and still have a personal business? Like real estate's so personal, but how do you now implement AI? It's like you're going to email me and then my AI robot's just going to respond or call you back, and somehow that's going to be like, oh, Brent touched base with me today. It's like, no, that
I just actually had a client complain about that, not from us, but he was dealing with another profession and he was getting AI in return. And he's like, no, like that's not cool. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, it's a fine line. I think AI can be in your system and save you a ton of time, but it can't ever become at least the face for what you do.
It should be helping all behind get to you to make things easier, and then you still convey it, right? Yeah. So you were talking about 24/7. When we tell realtors we're 24/6, we do our absolute best not to touch Sundays. Sundays, go to church, it's deal with our family, rest. They're like, how do you do it? And I'm like, you just do it. I think I've lost 2 deals because I don't work Sundays.
I don't think I've ever lost a deal.
Yeah. And I'm totally at peace with it. Right. And we need that day. So when people say, how do you do it? I'm like, how do you work 7 days a week? Like you need some time off. So setting that boundary for us, anybody can do it.
You should have a day of rest, like religious or not, a mental day to reset, like go for a hike, go for a walk with family, whatever it is. I don't care if it's, a Sunday, a Monday, a Tuesday, like take your day, because you actually will feel rejuvenated. And for us, it's Sundays and it's going to church and it's spending that time with family. And that's something that like, I don't,
some people say to me, you can't work Sundays. I'm like, no, it's not that. It's like, I don't have to. And it's a blessing. Like,
that's right.
Like I want you to be able to like say that too.
Like, take a day.
Yeah. So now another challenge we do have is the, nighttime and stuff like that. So we are still kind of trying to work that out, but it's a balancing game.
It's an ever growing thing, right? Like so what would be our goal, like tied to that, for like the next 5 years?
Can I add one more thing? No. How I think we're different. If we had $200,000 to spend on our business right now, I think I can say like we're not gonna go put our logo and our faces on a bus bench or on buses or just blast everything out there. We tend to spend it on our community and on our clients and then still grow organically. I would say that's one thing that sets us apart.
Yeah, almost all the money's invested on the current people. So that's like people walking around with swag, people going to client events, people getting Canucks tickets, different things they sponsor being supported by us, and we sponsor. Like we get hit up by a lot of these different organizations to help out, and we love doing that too.
And it's way more fun than just putting our name on a bus bench or bus.
Way better.
So that tied to that, it's like, where do we go from here, right? People deal with realtors that they know, like, and trust. We've got a lot of people that know us. They like us and our team. They do trust us, but the knowing is the hardest part, right? So going forward, it's how can we, without just spending a bunch of money on advertising because we don't want to do that. We'd rather spend it on our community, grow. And we always kind of have conversations to try put ourselves out there, right? But that would be how do we, and the way I look at it is, if we believe that we do good work and we're benefiting those that use us, why do we want to stop at just the numbers we currently have? Like, let's grow that. Let's double it. Let's triple it. Let's grow our team, right? But we are limited by how many people know us. So
yeah. And our amazing clients are still referring us all the time, every time, even in this is a tough market right now. And sometimes it's like, this is a grind. And then all of a sudden there's 3-4 leads. This happened to me last Monday where it's like 2 listing appointments and 2 new buyers in a day. And I'm like, wow. And this is all word of mouth. So
not average.
Shout out to our clients. Please keep doing that. We love it when you do.
So where do we go from here? I think we didn't talk about it. Brent and I together actually bought a place in Mission that used to be a vitamin store with 3 residential units above.
Dump.
We did eventually sell it.
Absolute
It
dump.
turned out well, but I think
Caleb,
forward,
you should expand a little bit more. Let's give the people the good stuff.
how far do we go into?
Right into it. Okay, so the upstairs was 3 living quarters. The front one was like heavily smoked.
We're sprinkling our real estate into this now, right? Like this, we want people to know, what we've learned on the way. So here's what we've learned on the way of what to invest in, what not to.
Yeah, so heavily smoked in. Like we went in and there was like burn marks in the mattress and on the floor beside the bed from like where people would fall asleep while having a cigarette and they would just like fall out of their mouth.
That is true.
Or like didn't quite
That
put it
is
out.
true.
Whatever. That was gross. So that front unit is disgusting. The middle unit, he was actually a nice guy, but he was dirty. It was dirty. And then that was like kind of the least of our problems. And then the back one, we walk in this place and from floor to ceiling on the walls are 8x11 photos of inappropriate content of younger girls. Like they weren't naked, but they were like, it was like,
You're like, this shouldn't be like this.
a wall of descendants, a wall of female wrestlers, just like a wall of Selena Gomez. It's just,
These are 3 different renters.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
and it was, oh man. It was,
So our goal there
Ugh.
was to purchase it, to reno it, raise the rents, and maybe even actually put office
Leffers and Rook.
and move us there. Mm-hmm. But then we ran into challenges. None of the tenants wanted to leave because they had such low rent for so
Vitamin
many
Store
years.
moved out.
But Vitamin Store moved out. And
So
in
was
the
British.
end, the market kind of tipped up a little bit, and we had a willing buyer, and we're like, hey, let's sell it. So
Yeah, but we actually tried to buy it and get vacant possession.
It's true.
Because we were gonna move Leffers and Rook there, but then the tenants didn't leave, and then we went to the hearing at the tenancy board and we lost it, which was so that sucked because our story was like, oh no, we're gonna move in one, and then like when Darren's parents come and visit out of town, there's a place for them to stay, and my parents are gonna build a house, there's a place for them to stay, and it was just anyways, we lost, and our story was like, it's kind of true, but.
It was a big challenge. So knowing that in real estate, any investing is going to be a challenge. But going forward, like we love our office here. I don't think we have any plans to move, but it would be like, does it make sense to purchase an office somewhere?
Invest, yeah. And we did make money on that investment. Like we bought for just over 1.1, and we sold for over 1.4.
Yeah.
And we bought in a dip in it, so it was still good overall, and we were so happy to get out of it.
And we learned from it.
And we learned from it. Learned a lot of things from it, which was good. We actually haven't made another investment together yet, so maybe it's almost time. Like I've actually took some of that profit and invested in a condo in Big White, kind of focusing on family, and then another fixer upper I'm still currently working on with another friend. So I've kept the money in the market, but still working. Like the Big White is, you don't buy in Big White for super long term for profit, I guess. You buy it for experience and time with the family. Like even the person I bought off, I think they made $300,000 in like 20 years, but that money invested elsewhere would have done a lot better. So that was more of a personal decision, but it is cool that we can go skiing.
It's a lifestyle.
I think we made a good purchase. I don't think it's going to go down. I think it was bought at the right time and we get to enjoy it. So that's kind of neat. And then the other one is a reno that, jury's still out. We got a long way to go on it. But yeah, maybe you and me, it'll be an office space.
Yeah.
Are we going to buy one of these
Office
days, right?
space or it'll be, a warehouse investment. I think that's that's our personal things going forward. And then as far as Leffers and Rook
We talk with John. John is super intelligent in Chilliwack investing and land, and
so I guess
we'd
the answer is
happily
wait and
partner
see.
with him. But I think if you leave the doors open and pray about stuff and see where you're led. Like that's something that I strongly believe in. Like not all these decisions in my life, they were like open doors that they were just open for me. Like even the people we've hired, everything, it's like, it's kind of in front of you and you embrace it. Just keep your mind open. And that's,
yeah. And I would say there's a lot of
in.
opportunities that I've had that I saw the risk in, not the reward. And I should have saw the reward, right? Like you say no because of the risk, but the ones that we have decided to go forward on have worked out, right? You could say that mission didn't work out because we don't no longer have it, but we learned from it and we still made money on it.
Pain in that place, man.
Yeah. And that's not even talking about the hall that I bought with another client of ours.
Oh yeah,
that was another one I don't have anymore, but
you did made a little bit on that, right?
Yeah.
But again, kind of a tough one.
But we are always looking for opportunities, and the thing is, running a business takes time. So if you're investing here and there, that's just more time, right? So it's trying to balance all those things.
Harmony.
So, harmony. That's
the
word.
Harmonize. I don't know why I just try.
but for Leffers and Rook,
I try harmonizing. My daughter she's like, Dad, are you tone deaf?
We'll get you singing one day on here.
Painful. That's why I play drums. I don't know what to sing.
Yeah, as far as Leffers and Rook goes, I think we're slow growth from the personnel side, and it's really just trying to really build our community bigger and bigger. So I guess we'll see where it goes from here.
I feel like that's probably a good place to wrap it up a bit here. I don't know if we really went through like everything in the business or what, and hopefully there's some things people can learn. Let's give them one thing that is like one of the most important things that we learned through growing a business together, and one of the things that you think like this is something to avoid. Let's leave the people with that.
Put me on the spot. Okay, so I would say constantly, like not challenging what you're doing, but reflecting. Like in the past, we went to the island one time and spent 2 days there being like, let's go through our business.
We would have yearly, partner meetings.
So we're due for a 10-year anniversary / review / find a golf course somewhere, round to golf.
Sounds amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's reflecting on your business. Like
we had hard conversations during those times too, as partners, because it hasn't been all roses and butterflies, like mostly. Yeah. But we've definitely had to have our hard conversations.
And we see things differently too, right? So, if I say, hey Brent, we should hire another assistant, and he might, well, like, I don't need that, right? Or the other way around, right? So I would say constantly reflecting on that is a good thing. What has been our we haven't had a real challenge or a real hiccup, I don't think. I don't know if you have something to.
So my thoughts would be like, you have to be, if you're starting a business, be passionate about it, be 100% in. Like if you have to have a talk with your spouse about what the sacrifice is, because it is a sacrifice for both of you, especially the first couple of years. So if you're starting and you haven't had that chat with your husband or your wife, and just you need to have it. You need to have it because they have to come along for the ride. And my wife had to be super understanding about that, especially with 2 young kids. Be all in and go. It takes every part of you to get it going. And then once you get it going, and I think once the ball was rolling on Leffers and Rook and more of the referrals and leads come in, that's when it's like, okay, now let's build the systems and the processes to now harness that, right? Yeah. So be all in, like take the risks, but like be all in. I think that's the simple thing I want to leave people from the beginning, and then think about it, especially in real estate, guys. If you're a realtor listening to this, think about it like a business. You don't just be a salesman running around unorganized. Like you can be a professional, give long-term advice, and build your business so that it works for your life.
I got a couple things now that I have time to think about it.
There you go.
So I would say serve people. You're not a realtor just to do a deal, move on to the next deal. The way I look at it is like we try to do a good job for people, and we will make a living, right? So you're serving them, you're helping them get from one place to the next. I think that's huge, and trying to do it, out of humility, but it's definitely serve, and find ways to learn. Like how much have we learned, and we're still learning, right? And that's going to get you better. So no matter what business you're in, if you can fulfill people's needs and show value and learn while you're at it, like that to me is a win right there. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you're making a good living at the same time, right? Yeah. But start with that, like, how can I serve people? I think is a huge first question to ask, right?
And then, I'll just spitballing here, and understanding your team's personality is another huge thing. Like we dived, we dove deep Oh, it was such a blonde
It's a
moment.
good way to
bad.
end.
We dove deep on personalities and on each other and on our teams to understand how people work. And I think that's important for like team cohesiveness and understanding who you are. So I highly recommend that. Like just understand that about each other. And then one thing I want to say about regrets, I'd say for us, we have definitely spun our tires wasting some money on unnecessary marketing over the years. I think a lot of people have in our industry, but you know, I think it's important to identify what you're good at in your business and then focusing your time, effort, and energy on that, especially for lead generation. We're good at like warm doors, referrals, spending money on our people. And that's been super successful from us. And every time we stray away from that by like buying a few signs or like, hey, YouTube ads this or, you know, Facebook ads that, those leads have been people that we just don't jive with. And just, it hasn't worked. It's ended up being a waste of money, like tens of thousands of dollars over the years. I don't think we've hit $100,000 on that, but we've definitely, I would say we spent like $40,000 to $60,000 for sure in like trying this stuff out.
It's something that you can't see
And it
an
hasn't really
ROI
worked.
from, right? Like
It's
if
hard.
you're farming a specific area, you can get ROI from that and see it. But if it's a YouTube ad here, YouTube ad there, you know, you're spreading out your bus bench here, it's hard to see ROI from it. So I would agree with that. Even though you feel like that's what you need to do to grow, just get in front of more people. So maybe that is door knocking. Like Ryan does a lot of door knocking, and props to him. It's not an easy job, but he has definitely grown his community from that. And now he's following up, right? Like that's definitely one way. He's getting in front of people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening. Again, like, subscribe. If you have any questions for us, like reach out to Darren at any time, however you're listening to this, like you can shoot us a text. You can find us on Instagram, whatever it is. So at Leffers and Rook to find us on Instagram.
And we got a great guest coming up for our next episode.
Yeah, stay tuned for episode number 3. Our first guest ever. Hopefully we don't botch it for him. We're excited for him.
In a way, he made Leffers and Rook possible.
More to come on that. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you guys next time.